So one of the decisions that I took early last year, late the year prior, was that there would be one master provisioning stack, an orchestration stack for enterprise server and storage products. And we had made our bet around IDVSE. So what we decided to do in storage was to invest in building an on-ramp that's called the Storage Provisioning Manager, so that any Storageworks product would be discoverable and provisionable in an IDVSE environment. And some of that, actually, the first release for SPM version 1 is this month. I think it just went out. And we have a pretty aggressive roadmap to extend inclusion to all of the different storage products that we have, both OEM and native, in that environment.
Yeah, that was the same what Brian spoke briefly to you at the
Okay.
very
Yes, he
beginning
did,
of the
yeah.
demo.
Yeah.
It's kind of this on-ramp, as you call it, which is directly integrated in something like that.
So what you guys saw with that EVA, that's like brand new. I was almost like, I think that's NDA. I don't think we've even announced it yet. And so it sounds like it's out there, but
It's
you guys are probably
It's
the
announced.
first to have seen
It's
it.
announced within the last week, which I didn't recognize you with the green glasses. Sorry.
The venture star.
So, I mean, that's one point of integration. The what you will increasingly, I'll give you another point of integration that's coming out later in the year, and I don't know that we've talked publicly about this, but as one of the showcases for converged infrastructure will be a focus around VDI. And you'll see us put out a very compelling VDI solution that is a combination of C-class and some of our storage products that has very low cost per client in the rack and very aggressive aggregate boot times. And I can't give you details because we haven't gone public. It's only right now under NDA, but that's coming, within a few months. So 2 simple ones. We also have we've done a few acquisitions in the last 12, 18 months with Left Hand and iBricks, our P4000 and the X9000 line. And one of the things that we're working on is a common management platform, which is essentially common look and feel, continuity of experience for customers who want to deploy that scale-out infrastructure with storage to go along with scale-out infrastructure with ProLiant and Blades. So regardless of what delivery service they want, whether it's block or file, the way that you manage it, whether it's online or backup to disk, will be fairly common across those different usage models. And they'll start coming online, I would say, second half of this year. But, some simple examples there. Sorry.
When we were looking at the really pretty cool power management features earlier, one of the things that really stuck out to me was the fact that it doesn't really support storage or networking at all.
Mm-hmm.
Did I miss something, or is that a future, or?
So by the way, I'm relatively new to storage. Been in the role about 18 months. My background is I've been in ISS for 6 years before that. Ran the cloud infrastructure practice that is now called SCI. And before that ran the Superdome server development efforts in the Unix group. So one of the decisions that I took coming into storage was that we were going to become very surgical in our hardware investments. Because at the end of the day, a key component of our strategy is to change the market to disadvantage pure play storage providers. And we do that through leverage of ProLiant and Blade system. So, as a server guy, when we launched C-Class, what was it, 2006? So feedback was we advanced the state-of-the-art in compute, advanced the state-of-the-art in networking. The original Virtual Connect team used to work for me. What we did for storage was a fiber channel HBA and a fiber channel switch. We didn't do much there. So, things like extreme data storage were a good example of using Blades for storage, not storage for Blades. And because of all the value that we built into our x86 lines, I decided we're just going to leverage that and start building storage platforms that are based on ProLiant and Blade system, and we're going to focus our investments in software.
And that seems like a good strategy considering the breadth and the depth of the commodity hardware, the server hardware that HP has, so.
Why would we not leverage our number one server business in the industry? Right? And everything that is built into ProLiant for power management applies to any Sun IQ, any P4000, any X9000, or disk-to-disk backup appliance that's deployed in the market today or in the future. You know, another reason why we want to do that is because if you acknowledge this information explosion that's going on in the market right now, at some point you have to ask yourself, you know, what do we want to do? Do we want to be pumping hundreds of terabytes of data through a network to deliver that to an application that needs it, or do we move a virtualized application to where the data resides? So we do firmly believe in the co-location of applications and data, especially for data-intensive applications. And you know what I'd like to do, coupling the strength of ISS and the strength of the you know, our emerging storage portfolio, is become the reference development platform for all the next generation apps that are coming down the road. We found good success in compute by becoming the reference platform for many ISVs. We want to do the same thing in information management. It's a tall order. I can't tell you that we're there today, but we have a fairly clear path of how to get there. You look skeptical.
No, I'm not skeptical.
You're
I'm
leaving
thinking of
thought.
what to say next.
Okay.
Trying to think before I open my mouth.
I
know
aspire
that's
to do
unusual.
that every
Yeah, I was
day.
gonna say, Steve is
a very blogger.
Yes.
So how do you feel about products like P4000, X9000?
So for those of you that were with us the last time when we talked storage, X9000 is what is now the product implementation of iBricks running on ProLiant.
I think it's incredibly poor naming choice, considering that I have no idea what you're talking about when you say those things.
I will tell you that I'm not in marketing, and I don't pick names.
I mean, I know iBricks,
But,
you know, I know Left Hand, but I don't know P4000.
Yeah. So left-hand Sun IQ, even before when I was in the server team, I had a business relationship with Left Hand Networks, and we had even tried to come up with shared iSCSI boot solutions for C-Class. Back then, the technology, especially the hardware technology, didn't allow it. And but I've been a pretty big fan of scale-out, block and file for a long time. And the reasons are, it gives us the ability to independently scale performance and capacity. And especially for file, when you look at iBricks having a 16 petabyte single namespace, there's a lot of TCO that we can capture and consolidate into a single namespace. So, you know, I have one example of and it's a, you know, Sun IQ and our left-hand product line in the last quarter grew 74% year on year, right? So you can compare that to a 44% growth in EqualLogic. So we're on a sharper vector, growing off of a smaller base. You know, I'll acknowledge that, but we have a lot of momentum. It took off in Europe. It's gaining ground here in the U.S. as well. With iBricks, I have one financial services customer that deployed X9000 in one specific project, called us back about 6 weeks later and said, we're not buying that app anymore. The fact that we can consolidate our filer sprawl into a single large namespace is pretty good. And the capabilities of iBricks work for that customer. You know, we're expanding the capabilities of iBricks through the course of the year to make it more general purpose.
Yeah, my concern when HP bought iBricks was that it was not going to be a general purpose NAS solution, and that it would be yet another little niche in the storage field, and that you wouldn't be able to apply it against the mammoth NetApp effect.
I think